Evening everybody, we are live. I notice we have the black boxes on screen again. I will just try and sort them out. For some reason, when I do this exact same fix before going live, it never works. Because I always do exactly the same thing, which is to open up the editor for the Streamlabs and then close it again, and that seems to sort everything. There we go. And as I say, that's all I do, is open the editor, close it, and it fixes it. No idea why it does it, and if I do it before the stream, it doesn't fix it. Very strange, but there we go. That's Streamlabs for you. It kind of has a mind of its own. How is everyone this evening? My God, that text box is coming up rather large tonight, is it not? The text box that doesn't even actually properly exist, or at least it shouldn't. So yes, how is everyone this evening? Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is good to have you all with us. As we know, or at least I hope we do if we've been paying attention to the thumbnails, the plan is to have this move in tonight. Wonders of technology, exactly, Alex. And yes, the cog. I am very well, thank you, A1. Good to see you are both good, Alex and A1. That is excellent news. The cog obviously gave us many problems last week, and for those that haven't seen the Thursday video, this is the same cog as last week when we get some focus. However, it now has a plastic centre, so no more contacting the axle. And so with any luck, no more short circuits. So that should fix that. The roof still isn't attached because I still have the DCC chip hanging out of it. Yes, huge is an understatement. But when you consider that I got rid of that off the thing and it shouldn't come up at all, it's rather odd that they've come up and are that huge. But never mind. So yes, I mean this is here. I bored out the hole in the middle of the cog so it was wider, and inserted a plastic bush, which is actually the bush that we took out of the old Hornby wheel on stream last week. It's then been filed down smooth so that we don't have a big bump sticking out the side of the cog. All went very well. It was a very easy job to do. Couldn't have done it on stream purely because of the noise of doing that and the time that we stream. I do have to think about my neighbours. So, if we're going to attach this cog, we need to get inside here. Which means we need to get that bolt off so we can remove the bogie. And then get this bolt off too. Quick random question, if you don't mind me asking. Which is better? Minecraft. Minecraft. Think about the neighbours now that the days of nicking their Wi-Fi is over. Exactly, Alex. But the thing is, you know, one day I might need to nick their Wi-Fi again. And I don't want them to get all upset with me in the meantime. There we go, and that screw comes out. So we can remove the chassis. Of course, that does mean we need to feed this DCC chip back through the hole. Which obviously, as you can see, is a nice easy job. There we go. Just got a cable stuck around the reverser now. And there we go, we're out. Minecraft will be more useful to you in the short and long term, A1. What Alex said, exactly. Good evening, James. Welcome. How are you this evening? It is good to see you. The problem still being, where am I going to find $27? The same place you find all that money for those things you give to Alex. So yes, James, as I was telling the others, our brass cog now has a plastic centre. Good to see my focus is focusing for me. Just somewhere close to here would be nice. So there we go. Brass cog now has plastic centre. So we hopefully still won't get the short circuits that we were getting last week. I'm well, thank you, still making progress. Indeed, that is the idea. We want to get this thing running tonight. Which also means proper insulation. Excellent, I approve of duly insulated brass cogs. Excellent, I'm glad you approve. So I've said before, I approve of things that you approve of, James. No, that one must be the tighter one. Oh yes. I approve of your approval of my things. Brilliant. Glad to hear it. So I'm going to take this all the way out, and the reason for that is because I've not actually fitted this cog onto the axle before. I fitted the bearing onto it, but not since putting the bearing in the cog. Hello Max, welcome to the stream. How are you this evening? It is good to see you. Oh yes, you can tell that I never fitted it afterwards because there's bits of plastic flaking in there, which will be from when I was filing it down. Okay guys, bought a ton of Lone Star stuff. 3 080s, 2 chassis and a motor plus brand new drive bands. Excellent. Sounds like a very good haul. So there we go. It fits. Hello UK Train Spotting, welcome. How are you this evening? It is good to see you here again. Well, I mean, success, Alex, that's a big word. Very big word at this point in time. Yep, it's pretty much all coming from the UK. Car. Been to the West Somerset Railway today, seen my favourite Great Western engines. Oh, excellent, very nice. Very nice indeed. See, Alex, this is what I mean about talking too soon. We might have got the cog on the wheel, on the axle once, but now we need to get it in here on the axle. Good, thanks, Chef. I'm very good, thank you. UK Train Spotting. It is nice to be spending the evening modelling with everyone again. Or it will be if I get this cog to cooperate. That's a step in the right direction. It is now fully on the axle. We just need to get it into position in the middle of the axle. Let's loosen up the motor and move it away. There we go, there's a nice solid mesh between the gear and the worm there. I have a problem with my cog on my old Hornby large prairie. Thankfully, I'll be getting the new Hassens ones when they come out. Oh, excellent. New is always good. This is the original brass cog that went on last week and came with this motor when it was new. All those many years ago. That motor's not sitting in the middle anymore. Caught up on here. There we go, that's better. Yeah, that's much better. And gave us the problem of it shorting out. So the motor has had the hole in the centre of it drilled through and a plastic bearing added to give us some insulation between it and the axle. At least that's the theory. I've not actually tested this yet. Do you have a layout? I have many layouts, UK Train Spotting. If you go through my video history, I've uploaded a few overviews of layouts that I have over the last few weeks. There is, of course, my main layout, Oak Hill, as the channel is named after. There is Bright Helmstone, which is my photo plank and is based on Brighton works in the 1870s. South Park Quarry, which is a layout under construction, or will be under construction and will be done live on stream. Can you check mine in your spare time, please? I would love to. I will definitely be doing that. I do love seeing layouts on YouTube, so I will definitely be checking that out at some point, yes. Spare time has been hard to find recently, though. Owing to the world not wanting my house to continue being a house. Right then. There is the test track cleared. I also have Hailsham, my exhibition layout. The last video for that was uploaded over a year ago, but the layout still exists, is progressing, is actually sat, although boxed up, out at the moment, waiting for me to get a chance to put it up and film another video of it, so expect that in the near future. There's a couple of other plans, but nothing solid at the moment. Right, I'm going to give the test track a quick rub down. because it's not been touched since last week's stream. It is still set as the live DCC input. Have you succeeded in keeping your house a house despite the world's best intentions? It's been a struggle, but we've had a lot of new plumbing in. We've had a new roof on. I've got to get the plasterers in to patch up a couple of walls, but we are getting there, James. It's still livable. I've already converted another model railway of Dunster at the WSR into the spare room. Excellent. See, Oak Hill, my main layout, is actually in my living room. It's brilliant. So, we're only powering on 2 wheels, but we are going to try and see what happens. Turn the power on and hope we don't get any shorts instantly. We do not, that's a good start. I approve of livable, yes, and that's all we can hope for at the moment. There was some life there, I heard it. Oh no, that was a short I heard. That's not good. Oh no, we're really shorting out there. Layout in a living room. Now that's an interesting set of priorities. Priorities that are correct. Right, so we are shorting again. Interestingly, I saw sparks from the back of the motor, even though the back of the motor is insulated because they came from this side. So we shall have to check that. I shall also have to change this laptop so that it doesn't turn the screen off. Because of course, for those that don't know, I have got a new laptop for running the stream. It is currently set to turn the screen off as it did for me a second ago. And I must say, this is... There we go, found it. When plugged in, turn the screen off. Never. When plugged in, the PC goes to sleep. Never. There we go. That solves that. Now I can see what you're saying. Base priorities, what's higher priority than model railway? Hope you've alternate project just in case. Don't need an alternate project. Nothing. Rip Oak Hill's last laptop. Good point, well made. Yes, I agree. What's more important than railways? I mean, it's very convenient that my house has a 13-foot long alcove in the living room. What else was I supposed to do with that space? Put a sofa there? Don't think so. My last laptop is technically still alive. It can't die yet because I haven't got Office up and running on this laptop as yet. Which, I mean, really, I should just install Office on this laptop. But come tomorrow morning, when it's work time, I will need the old laptop still. This pickup is not touching the wheel. That seemingly did nothing. There we go, that's there. So the sparking definitely looked like it was coming from here to me. And I cannot see anywhere that this wheel or its pickup are touching the chassis. And they're certainly not touching the motor with all that insulation over it. It gets very close there, but it is still only touching the insulation. Let's see if we can replicate. Definitely coming from that corner. Definitely from by this driver there, and that was as soon as I put it down. You know, obviously it'll be better once I've got the wheels on properly. There's not much more I can insulate to keep this happy. Good evening, Luke. Welcome to the stream. How are you this evening? You join us with more short circuits because, of course, nothing can be simple. But that's just the way we like it. You is good, that is good. Okay, A1, have fun, don't be long. Right, I definitely can't insulate anything more there. There won't be anything left if I do. There we go. If things were simple, life would be boring. Exactly, Luke. Although sometimes I like to pretend I've done my time with an interest in life. And that I don't need one anymore. The only thing more I can insulate from that now is the pickup itself, which would kind of defeat the object here. But it has shorted again. Let's just make sure that wasn't me putting the wheels down bad. Maybe it was. Let's see. Well, there's no movement. And there's our short circuit. I wonder if these wheels are causing us issue, because we didn't have these wheels on when we were doing all the short circuit testing last week, did we? Because these are full metal wheels with plastic bushes. You see, this is all because I took this apart during the week. I was asked if I could take some pictures of the chassis for someone. The cog is definitely only touching the worm and the axle. The axle, as we know, is insulated from it, so I can see nothing there that should be causing a short circuit. Perhaps when I took it apart for its photos, I knocked the brake gear. So we'll make sure all the brake gear has plenty of distance. Working on my Lone Star 7F, but I'll have to reverse the polarity of the electric wiring, unfortunately, as I cut the axle on the wrong side. Oops! There are worse problems though. Right, so we've still not fixed it. Hello, I'm back. Welcome back, UK Train Spotting. You join us in a world of short circuits. Which is kind of like what we had last week, only we thought we were done with them. I cannot see anything that should be shorting, even with the amount of slop that's still in these wheels, because they're not done up properly. The brake gear is all clear. As you can see, there's clear daylight through there. This one is closer, but it's still daylight through there. And of course, as I said last week, there was... I've not been to club to collect my multimeter to be testing it with that. So that also causes us issues. It's hard to see how this can be diagnosed without a multimeter. I agree, James. I really, you know, I'm back at club tomorrow, so I can pick it back up. I don't need to cut any more of that off. I've got loads up here. Can you not ring up an electrical continuity test, DC transformer, a resistor, and LED? I could if I had all those things in places I knew where they were. I know where my DC controller is. But as for my resistors and LEDs, I did a project with them some time ago, put them away, and actually can't remember where I put them. Because the railway stuff has had a lot of moves since then. I really want to make sure it's not this cog again. It's not. There we go. That confirms that. We're also having to reverse the position of the motor on the Union Pacific 7F diesel. A lot of gremlin, always important to double check before you mod. Indeed it is, Max. For that flash there was because the studio lighting is failing us this evening. The switches are dying in both. So I'm going to have to rip it all apart before next week and put a new switch in. I'll just put one switch in that controls them both. In the meantime, we have been going for 38 minutes. Hydration is important, everybody. But yes, my resistors and LEDs, whilst they are definitely together, could be in one of 4 places, and a couple of those are not particularly easy to get to. But also quite likely because I had no projects planned for them, so they could have been put away whilst I was doing that. But yes, I agree that this is looking like an unsolvable issue without having a multimeter there. That's touching. I actually got a smoothie with me today. Oh, very nice. Very nice indeed. What variety of smoothie do you have? I'd like to remind everyone that the insulating tape will not be staying in place. It is a temporary measure. Nope. Can do the same on this wheel because they're both equally close. And at some point I'm going to dig out my Romford screwdriver. Again, with the house having the issues it's had, there have been other priorities than digging for tools. So what happens if you can't shelve salt without a multimeter? Shorter than normal stream? Not a chance, Luke. Not a chance. The stream will run. If it becomes something unsolvable, we'll do something else. It's not like this is the only project I have. Now, I've not noticed that. The show must go on. Exactly, James. Exactly. I shall have that song stuck in my head for the rest of the stream now, though. There we go. That's better than the last one. See, proof Gary's a proper streamer, unlike someone else I could mention. I approve of getting songs stuck in people's heads. Well, that didn't work. So the motor wants to run. Maybe use a washer in between the wheels and the chassis. There are improper streamers. I believe you'll find, James, that Alex is making a dig at himself. Because sometimes he cuts his streams short because he's not well, which is a perfectly valid reason to cut your stream short. Especially when yours run until later than mine do. Wish I knew more about electrics to suggest a solution. If we have to move on to something else, we have to move on to something else. It would not be ideal, but it would also not be the end of the world. I'm just checking around the inside here, making sure there are no places I can see in there where there is a short. I certainly don't think I can see any. And even with the axle in, I still don't see any shorts on the inside there. Oh, self-depreciating modesty, indeed, James. Easy to do when you are useless at it. You're not useless at anything, Alex. Stop putting yourself down. But if I balance that there, well, we've got no short, but we've got no movement from the motor either. Or noises that sound like movement, for that matter. It's not really modesty when you genuinely think you are useless. You're not useless, Alex. We've had this discussion many times. Now, no more of it. Well, that confirms the motor does still turn. Well now, that's interesting. That pickup doesn't appear to be touching the wheel. If the pickup's not touching the wheel, how did I get a reaction out of the motor when I had the back wheels lifted off? That is the question. I'll shut up for now. You'll shut up permanently, mole. As you can see, we have some slightly better glue for sticking this down with now. Which of course is what we really needed last week. Oh dear, I've knocked that out of its location. Oh good, I don't need 6 hands for this at all, that's good. There we go. So it appears we've taken a step backwards in the i3, in that the motor's no longer turning, but it is making noise. I don't want to run it. Oh, but there goes the light again. I don't want to run it because I don't want to burn it out. We do not want a motor that is not turning, for obvious reasons. This whole kit thing is harder than it looks. It is at times, yes. But in fact, most of the time it's really, really easy. Haha. We got the motor fitted, tons of adrenaline. Now I'll need to insulate it. Excellent, excellent. Max. Good evening, Linny. How are you this evening? It is good to have you with us here. Small world, you made more progress tonight than I have with my Phantom in the last month. I've made no progress, Luke. Well, I need to discover that we have a mutual friend. Oh. And there goes that light again. I'm definitely going to have to sort those lights out for next week. How very interesting. No, it's making noise, but it's not turning. That can't be good for it. So, I think the solution here is to say that the i3 does not want to cooperate today. It has had a falling out with us, and to collect my multimeter from club on Monday and continue with it next week. Because obviously having my multimeter would solve all these short circuit issues very quickly. And with all these other issues with the motor not spinning, etc., I think that's probably for the best. Luckily I'm prepared. I shall clear the bench and show you how prepared I am. Sounds like the best plan. Yes, I agree. So, what we have here is a shoebox I prepared earlier, full of kits. All small kits, but kits nonetheless. Newcast, Brighton, open my spare couplings. 5 and 9 coal wagon, white metal. A rather old Wooden Works Brighton brake van with some Comet W irons and a K's Stroudley carriage. All prepared earlier and stuck in this box so that they were next to me during the stream, just in case. I see a carriage kit. I do like carriages. There we go. That solves that problem. Craven brake van by Woodham. Yes, indeed, Linny. Craven brake van by Woodham. A proper wooden one with Eric Gates' name on it, not a reissue, and a phone that is not charging, so we're down to 82% battery. We can't be having that. I'm going to take the opportunity here at 10 o'clock to remind everyone hydration is very important. Evening, suppose I'll stick my nose in. Good evening, Code Monkey. How are you? It is good to see you here. That carriage kit is going to want some carving up to a degree, yes. Yes, it is. But yes, it is Eric's original mouldings, Linny, from before they went to Chris Cox on the brake van. They are very nice and crisp. But yes, of course, the K's van will want some carving up for my needs, as it is in Isle of Wight condition. Those battery boxes can go in the bin for the start. They can indeed. In fact, look. There we go, they're gone. Those are beautifully crisp. They are, Linny. If you can make it down for Uckfield, then they shall still be here and you can have a nose at them. Talking of Uckfield, everyone, as I was asked last week, yes, I had a meeting with the exhibition manager last week. Yes, I have a list of every layout that is going to be there. However, what sort of Ukraine line 910, can't find many photos in that time period. It won't have been those ones. They're 1859 ones. I imagine they were all gone by then. But yes, the bad news is that the list of layouts to attend is currently embargoed. Oakhill Model Railway Lights Crisps. I should be down for Uckfield, yes. Excellent. Alex wanting to meet people. This is progress. So yeah, I can't actually tell you what layouts are coming until Thursday. I believe it's Thursday, because the exclusive reveal... Hey everyone, I'm liking in chat and keeping an eye. Hello Christopher, good to see you. I hope you are well this evening. Yes, remember to smash that like button, everyone. So yeah, I'm not allowed to reveal any details until Railway Modeler comes out, because Railway Modeler have the list. And they are printing it, and that's how it is going public initially, is when they print it. Full of cold. Ah, that sucks, Christopher. Hopefully you get better soon. Do not like to see people unwell. However, that has left me thinking that this week I might push back my Tuesday video that was planned to go out, and instead do my usual Thursday live stream review on Tuesday, and on Thursday do a roundup of what layouts are coming to the show, because I'll be able to tell you by then what's the show date. The show is the 19th and 20th of October. It is going to be an amazing show. My list of layouts is within eye shot at the moment, and I'm looking at it, and it's going to be an amazing show. So as I say, that is what I'm thinking of doing at the moment, is my usual Thursday layout live stream review on Tuesday, followed by a video promoting the Uckfield show on Thursday and giving you a list of what's going to be there. And then obviously what would have been my Tuesday video for this week will go out next week, and that's an update on the D1 project, which obviously is also being done for October, because that in itself is going to a show at the start of October. I shall try and attend. Would be excellent, Matt. Yes. I am trying to get myself a little name badge so everyone who can attend recognises me. So back to tonight. We have a carriage we're going to play with instead of an i3. And of course I don't really need to be afraid of ruining the K's packaging now. I've already done that, and let's be honest, these don't fetch huge amounts of money despite their seeming rarity. I know during the time I actually wanted one of the lots of these, as I thought they were the best way to get Stroudleys. I never found any. I've got a few of these kits sat around now. Heard a train horn from the local railroad. Ah, excellent. I don't have anything close enough to me to hear it. There we go. Wheeling and Lake Erie. Ooh. The best part about having these kits from K's, these little pots they come with, and they're great for holding spares at the back of the workbench. And of course another good thing about K's is they're a complete kit. They have everything but the buffers. We're going to cut the roof out, although in this case it won't be used permanently because there's a lot of weight in that could be replaced with plasticard. Bring the weight of the carriage down a bit to make it easier for a loco to pull. So, why not buffers? Buffers are important. Ah! There are buffers. These really do come with everything, these kits. So, there we go. So of course we've had this discussion about Ks before, about how they're horrible kits and no one likes them and they're terrible. Of course that last kit was the Thunderbolt. Okay, that doesn't quite fit, but I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting it to. That's why I did that. Was to have a look and see if it would fit. No. That's the one I want. Excellent, I approve of buffers. Apart from couplings, Roxy Mouldings kits come with everything too, if you buy the wheel pack from them at least. Or paint, so it's not complete then. Yeah, it is. Who needs paint? How do you know the Brighton livery wasn't bare white metal, Luke? And, you know, they can't include couplings because they don't know what couplings you want to use. They do, however, include a slot for my nice scale couplings. I see Luke's pedantry is in full swing tonight. When isn't it, Alex? When isn't it? That one could use with being made a little bit bigger. There we go, buffers fit through there. Yes, the Roxy kits are rather more expensive though. I think I paid a tenner for this one. I think I paid a tenner for the other one as well. Because you have told me and I have seen that plain white metal isn't the livery. But have you seen that, Luke? Did you go back to 1900 and have a look at Brighton carriages in person to see that the livery wasn't plain white metal? I mean, I'll accept the fact I've told you it wasn't. That's fair enough. But unless you've actually been there, you haven't seen. Just a thought. Are you going to be streaming on the weekend of Uckfield's show? Probably not, to be honest, Linny. I imagine I will get back and be too knackered. However, if I'm not knackered and you want to do a joint stream whilst you're down, I'd be up for it. I was meant to check that, wasn't I? Yeah, there we go. So all four of those holes are now fine for buffers to be fitted. I take back something I said before. The best route in TS is actually Space. Speyside is actually tied for best with Thamesby. Fair enough. Running a Dun Alistair on it and trawling all the way. I'd be happy enough to do a joint stream. Right, well then. So I say, I'm not opposed to the idea of streaming. We'd have to decide what we'd do though. Well, I can only assume we'd do something that you produce, Linny. It seems the right thing to do. So if there's something you produce that you'd like to show off on stream, that would, to my eyes, be the best thing to do. Obviously, we've done your carriages in the past. So if there's anything else from the Linny modelling stable that you'd like to show off on stream, only problem is all my wagon kits can be built in under an hour. We'll need 3 then. At least. Build a whole rake. Build a goods train in an evening. Exactly. That could be good fun. Yeah, that fits fine. Some of those lovely 1840s coaches, for example, batch production. That would be excellent, actually, Linny. 1840s coaches and a Jenny Lind. But be a great stream. I mean, I'd have to clear off the workbench a bit more to get both of us sat at it, but I do quite like that idea, honestly. I was not prepared for doing coaches tonight. I'm pretty sure this goes as well. I'm going to redesign and make them built similarly to the LSWR ones I've been working on. Oh, a Linny redesign. Excellent. Linny's stuff constantly improving. Just going to pour myself some more sugar-free black fizzy generic liquid, as hydration is important. Paint the Jenny Lind while I'm building the coaches then. Yeah, see? We could do a whole 1840s rake in an evening, including engine. Be an excellent stream, that. Dr. Fizz. That i3 looks like a carriage all of a sudden. Good evening, Killian. It does look like a carriage all of a sudden, doesn't it? The i3 was fighting me a bit, and it had developed some new short circuits, so I decided that we would go back, we would leave it for now, go on to one of the other many kits I've got stashed around, because I still don't have my multimeter. It is at club. I will be able to get it when I am there tomorrow. And then next week with the multimeter we can find the shorts properly. Ow, that was my knee on the leg of the bench, which is metal and sharp on that specific point. Never mind. Worse things have happened. So yes, we are instead backdating AK's carriage, because of course these are in the later Isle of Wight condition. Step one was of course to throw away the battery boxes. So yes, welcome to the stream. I hope you are well this evening. Sounds like an excuse to use an angle grinder. You would think so, Code Monkey. Right then. Is it normal to cry at just how beautiful Caledonian stuff is? Yes. Many pre-roofing companies produce aesthetically very delightful things, some more than others. They did indeed, James. That is quite correct. That's why I adore the period. Callie and the Chatham were in a different league. They were. Check the Creed, and then there was the GWR. Don't forget the understated elegance of the GWR, or the delight that was the GNR. Yes. Good to see we're all on the same page about these things then. So the idea of these coaches is they do basically form together. The bits here are chamfered, so they literally just slide in and hold themselves straight. Just really slide this one on first. Look at that. Good evening, Backdown K's White Motor Shows antique enough as it stands. Good evening, Stephen. Welcome to the stream. I can place the roof on, although as I said, long term this won't be getting used just because of how heavy this whole thing is. Well, as I said, Stephen, backdating so that it's actually correct for the Brighton period. Although honestly, with Linney's kits available, I can't see me ever getting serious use out of a K's carriage. I mean, at least with Linney's stuff, I know it's going to run straight. The roof is warped too. It is indeed quick assembly. Yes, that was of course the whole idea of K's. The roof is indeed warped. The sides are very slightly warped, but nothing particularly massive. Obviously it is quite an old kit. The fact it's got warped is not surprising. And it's probably all fixable. if I wanted to. I knew what you meant. Yes, I know you did. I'm well aware you knew. But I don't think that was the point. Now, I'm sure I want to remove these trusses as well. I'm just quickly checking against the drawing. Yes, I do indeed. So, how are you this evening, Stephen? Well, that was an impressive dry run. Yes, it's great, isn't it? That everyone moans about Kay's kits, but the fact you can dry run them just like that. Yes, how are you this evening, Stephen? Did you enjoy watching Jane Austen? You want rid of the trusses? Yeah, that's what I thought. Just had to check the book. Does anyone else know why Dapple don't put the little packet of easy shunt couplings in all their boxes like Kato does with their knuckles? I believe the answer, Christopher, is to annoy you. I think I'm right when I say that's why they do it. So these obviously have any chance for close up side piece. Try and see if those are spring hangers or brake shoes. Those are spring hangers. They include NEM couplings, the others are more expensive, I imagine. You know what, this blade's going to be blunt. I've just, with what I've been doing with it. No, you're not allowed to know. It's a secret. You'll find out in an upcoming video. Actually, you won't. But because of the things I've been doing, it's had lots of time being run along the glass. So indeed, spring hangers, they're good for hanging springs, I understand. That is what I've heard about them, James. So again, I'm going to remind everyone at this point to buy the correct blades for your knife. Do not buy ones that are too small. You do not want blades that are too small and need padding to sit in there properly. It is a very bad idea. So this would be okay for the early days when only the brakes were fitted with brakes. Yes, although I don't believe my brake has brakes either. Now, if I don't slide this through from the side here, all that happens is all that tape I've put on gets pushed out the way and the blade still doesn't fit. Although it looks like I've wrapped it a couple of times too many here, so let's thin it out a little bit. Can't be a brake third with no brakes. Nope. It's got somewhere for the guard to sit though, and some ducats. Yeah, not as we know. I've been doing more Brighton. That Smallbrook cattle wagon is a pain in the... 5 and 9 castings look good though. Several silk purses contributing to the sales here, sticking with it. All the stuff I've had from 5 and 9 is certainly good. I need to get one of those hobbyist hand drill bits. Like one of them sort of things, you mean, Max? More Brighton is always good though, Stephen. And I do have a 5 and 9 kit to do. And in fact, I have one that would later enter the 5 and 9 range, but this is back from when Eric Gates was still making stuff. Prepare for loads of TS screenshots on Twitter of Cali goodness. Fair enough, Alex, will do. I'll be preparing myself all night. Right, that's one from the Knuckles. Find it odds than choice by that. Much to be said for a spot of engage. Find it very engaging. I find it very hard to see. More reliable than readers. As I would not. I mean, Brit steaming in LOL. yes, I know you wouldn't. Or the actual hand drill, yeah. So, decent blade. And off come the trusses. Oh, well, actually, these bits that I'm trying to protect are actually there for hanging the battery boxes on, aren't they? Eric Gates. Now, there was some very interesting wagons in his range once upon a time. Indeed, there was. Most of said range is now with 5 and 9. I don't believe he's got all of it. If he has, he certainly doesn't advertise all of it. Somewhat limited range of UK Steam stuff in and especially rolling stock. Yes. Wonder how long it'll be until someone made that joke. Yes, you've been bitten multiple times by inferior products in Steam section 2. Diesels are fine. Yeah, I do find rapidos. Operation a bit crude. That's what I modelled 1980s in N and 1930s in AA. To be fair to Smallbrook, chap at the club had LSWR 20-ton brake van made up very nicely using the Dapple underframe. Oh, fair enough. I've not actually built any of the Smallbrook kits. But of course I have read all the things you've said about them on RM Web. And that is my primary experience of them, is you building them, so... Of course, the other reason they're now coupled to my Kato items. That's always good if you want everything to be when everything can couple. This was easier when it was on the block. There we go. Is there a reason you cut towards your other thumb? Because I get more strength pressing down on the knife. Perhaps he doesn't like his thumb. 5 and 9 do the only 1840s whacking kits I can find, so we'll definitely get in some of those. Yes, I need to order some of those actually for someone else. But yes, the only reason I cut this way is the additional strength I get in doing so. Because of course, whilst white metal may be a soft metal, I am still cutting metal with a knife blade. Pick up some shavings and drop them in my rubbish box. I think I was unlucky with that cattle wagon. I strongly suspect the pair of sides and ends were from different batches and had shrunk by different amounts. Still, it was given me for free. Well, you can't complain at free, even if it does have issues. Well, you know, this is K's and I paid a tenner for it, so... Oh look, there's my phone popping up to tell me I've been using it for too long and should consider getting a life and seeing the world. I wish I was joking when I said that my phone tells me these things. I really do. So we're going to want to turn the iron on now. And bring the block back out, because of course it's actually a soldering block. If we are soldering, that is what we want to use. Like I say, is I've experienced that it isn't quality controls all over the place. At least 4 or 5 like steam locomotives I bought had issues with running. Yes, Luke, you might have heard Engage Steam is okay, but you know you also heard it's not, because I've told you it's not as well. The more modern stuff is not as bad as the older stuff, but it's still not great. I've heard very good things about Engage Steam. Your phone needs some more advanced software to recognise when you are railway modelling. Exactly, Stephen, it does. What it really needs is replacing. In fact, the idea now is, now that I've actually finally gotten myself a new laptop, yay, it is actually powerful enough to run the stream. So I am looking at now getting myself a decent HD webcam so that I can run the stream with the laptop rather than with the phone, which should hopefully give us all slightly better quality. Wouldn't that be nice? So we have the low melt solder, we have the white metal, we have the soldering iron. I suppose I could flux it a bit. Of course, the good thing about using I approve of better quality, I'm glad to hear that. I mean, the phone is still in HD 1080p, which is the highest YouTube will support with ultra low latency steams. Have you polished the edges to be soldered? That's a very good point. That's a very good point indeed. I'm going to give them a quick polish just with the carbon fibre brush. Because of course when soldering you do want everything to be clean. And especially with old castings like this, you need to really make sure it is clean. There's that one done. Okay, seem like have more rolling stock been available. Motor burnt out. Use same DC controller. I use my current stuff, which is all still fine. I got the motor placed though on that with a Kato one. That didn't work quite as well as hoped. There is rather a lot of gunk building up on the end of there. Which of course shouldn't really happen with a carbon fibre brush. It should all break off. I ain't getting to I'm pretending the Apple may drive shaft a few mil short on those, so no wonder. What about your N-gauge? Is it an A1 or an A3, whatever you've got, Luke, that doesn't work? Have you never seen problems on that one that you've got that doesn't work? Just wondering. Asking for a friend. Better the gunk on the brush than on the castings, and the brush is glass fibre, not carbon fibre. Yeah, of course. Of course it is, yes. I don't know why I always call it carbon fibre, because of course I do know it's glass fibre. In fact, sometimes I call it a fiberglass pencil, so I don't always call it that. Just most of the time. It does work. And the problems were ones that I caused. See? Problems! The problems existed in the first place. Doesn't matter whether you caused them or not. And I distinctly remember you telling us all in Twitter chat that it didn't work. There we go. Put the new tool Farish C-Class next to a Kato D51. Look at the coupling rods. Tell me UK Engage isn't lagging. Be interested to see what Kato does the UK Engage market when it enters the 800 class in 2021. It will indeed be interesting to see what Kato does to the UK Engage market when it enters. Hopefully, it will improve things. So if UK Engage is still lagging 20 years behind, it should be up to good quality by the time I retire. Retirement, there's a funny word. I don't know anyone my age that ever expects to be able to retire. Interest Midland E800, if only. As it's only not new hybrid. Good to see. Will indeed bimodal pieces of disappointment. Seem rather harsh on them because they are terrible. Right then. I'm going to put some solder on this kit. Oh, and there goes the light again. Definitely a job for through the week fixing that. As I say, I shall take all the wiring out from all the lighting in the studio and put it onto a single switch. At the moment, all the lights have individual switches. The switches are what's dying. So we shall see if I can sort that. I have a switch, so it should be fine. So it's how so. Travel on once last year, it wasn't so bad. Literally most uncomfortable trains to run since the Pacers. Right, Kato entering UK market. Woohoo, more British models for me to import. Yes, Max, they are. How a train can be made that uncomfortable in the 21st century is a mystery. They're not as bad as Voyagers, the most uncomfortable long distance trains around at present. Been on both, find the 800s worth. I approve solder. Voyagers are awful. Very interesting. There's a reason why I pretty much universally hate modern trains. So I'm getting the impression here, I could be wrong, but I get the impression that Alex doesn't like the 800s. Or Voyagers. As I say, I could be wrong, but that's the impression I'm getting. Put that away. And we need to put some flux on this end. Never travelled on a train on the national network anywhere near as comfortable as the LMS, LNER, GWR carriages on the SVR. Some of the modern ones are splendid. The S stock on the underground much more comfortable than the C or D stock. You may not say that during a heat wave when air conditioning makes all the difference. Don't spend time in London, so they don't really factor onto my radar. The thing is, Gary, no one likes Voyagers. You say this, but I do know someone that really likes Voyagers, Luke. So there we go. Admittedly, as a driver, the comforts he gets might be a bit better, but he really likes Voyagers. There is someone at my club who likes Voyagers, but he's wrong. Well said, Linny. Oh yes, Aegon, I remember that broke on the all bimodal train GWR and tripped on the journalists. Brilliant. It's not representative of every use case. Well, no, that's true. There we go. All of the modern PW engines, yes, but soulless and not worthy of an AP soundtrack. And there we go. Solder has been applied. Agree with James Petts here, now wrong with an 800. Soulless is exactly the right word to describe modern trains. 7 said some really awful, uncomfortable trains. Does anyone remember the 313s and 315s? If you've been on one, Luke, do you own a spine? Do you not feel discomfort? I remember the 313s, James. They're still relatively regular here. I believe I said a couple of weeks ago, I was once getting the train from Eastbourne to Brighton and a 313 turned up. I almost waited for the next train to avoid it because they really are terrible things. No one should ever be subjected to a 313. Should be banned as a form of cruel and unusual punishment. Still regular on the 313s. God, yeah. Well, see, I don't ride them anymore. Now that I drive, I don't ride them anymore unless I am going to Brighton. But that's very rare these days, so thankfully I don't have to get them anymore. But yes, they are horrid. I don't know where I put the bag that solder lives in. So I will put it on top of the soldering iron where the bag lives. 318's up in Scotland, they're bouncy. Got one with a wheel flat today. Oh, fun. Sat right over the bogey. Oh, wow. Seats make the real difference. 4.5 is best. Same awful seats. It was vibrating. 318 sounds magnificent pulling away. Train greater than car, surely. Yeah, but I drive a van, not a car. I mean, yeah, trains are better, but I need to drive the van to the station because there's no station in the town in which I live. So that would leave me with public transport, and we're not having that. There are people that like 313s. No, there's not. Some people like to be country, I believe. I don't believe there are people that like 313s. There are also people who like third rail emus that run in the south, also unbelievable. There we go, look, we've made a carriage. And it rolls. They're not all bad, consider the magnificent sound pulling away, Code Monkey. Thump, 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 bang, 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 bang. So, yeah. So, of course, now we need to solder again, now that I've put it all away, of course. Because I didn't think about the fact we've got, like, buffers and stuff to attach. Don't actually need anything off of here, but it's nice to have it. So, yes, we need to attach some buffers to this. Bit stiff. Yes, a little bit stiff. But looking at the state of these wheels, I think they've got a bit rusty and tarnished, so I think they're going to need replacing, and they could be the reason it's a bit stiff. That and the lack of bearings, but there's no way these tips would go in bearings, they're too rounded. So I've just noticed you'll need the brake pipes off the other sprue. Yeah, good point. I've just noticed these buffer shanks are threaded. Did K's expect you to be able to screw these white metal buffers in to the white metal without that thread getting ruined? I don't get that. If that's what they really expected, that's some very wishful thinking there. I mean, what's happened there is it's snapped. Also, you can get plain non-pinpoint bearings from Peter. Yes, but I don't have any. I only have pinpoint bearings. And if the wheels need replacing, they'll be getting ones with pinpoint axles on anyway. All I have at the minute is pinpoint bearings from someone somewhere recommended by a certain person for their carriage kits. You probably need a tap. I mean, well, they won't be getting one, they'll just be getting put in and soldered. I was just suggesting that it was wishful thinking on the behalf of K's that such a thing that they would be able to do that. And of course, if I'd have thought about this when I was cleaning it all up before, then I'd have cleaned up around these bits, but it's actually getting in there okay. Possibly 8BA tap, I'd drill or ream to clear. Yeah, that's what I've done. I have already widened the holes out so that the buffers just slide through. Don't forget to smash that like button, everyone. I mean, look at me, just reading out chat and also promoting the smashing of like buttons. Gently tapping is also an option for those of you out there who don't like to smash. There we go. That's got that big sticky out bit off. Smash it like a loco running into wagons. Again, shunting gently is an option. You don't have to smash wagons when shunting. That is still an option. I have already gently tapped. Much appreciated, James. No, Alice. Oh, that's you who shunts like that. I have tapped it 8BA. Brilliant. There we go. Hydration is important, everyone. It is 11 o'clock. Please make sure you are still drinking. You don't have to smash wagons. That definitely doesn't sound right. I'm afraid it is. Right, that one's... Where's my... There it is. It is very much correct that you don't have to smash wagons, Alex. I'm sorry to tell you this. Probably should have pointed it out when you're shunting on stream, really, shouldn't we? What did we learn on the GP9 stream? Brute force is the only way to shunt. Look, I can't help it if you play a train simulator that isn't realistic enough. It's not my fault that your simulator doesn't recognise how the world really works. Almost done with the F7 diesel streamliner. Need to get the drive bands in, then we'll be done. Excellent, Max. Has anyone else got any projects ongoing out there? Because I do enjoy hearing from you all about things you are working on. Or in the case of Alex, at least, things you are playing. Had to feed paper clips through the wheels because the wheels came out. That doesn't sound quite as good, if I'm being honest. Super glue them to the axle boxes. Yeah, that doesn't sound quite as good, but at least it's running. Not this evening, only just come back from being away, so not in the railway shed this evening. That makes sense, James. I hope you had a good time away. I've got projects on the go, but none that I'm working on right now. Got my LSWR carriages, 42-foot ones on the go. Oh, very nice. Told you, Linny, I definitely need some LSWR carriages to go with my Adams radial. And road half relief buildings to go along the back scene of the layout eventually. Recognise how terrain works, super elevation. Well, that's what I did do as well. Well said, Code Monkey. Swapping couplings over steel. Front one's a plastic from a dummy. From a dummy like on my electric. It's a very tiring time. Was teaching on a course. Ah, fair enough then. Right, I have returneth. Hello, A1. Welcome back. I don't know if you were here when it happened, A1, but the i3 was giving us all sorts of problems again. So I melted it down and turned it into a carriage. Just seemed like the right thing to do. I don't know why I've put all that away again, because of course I do need it to put the brake pipes on still. As Linny pointed out. Seems legit. What do you see in front of you, A1? What would be single plus good? It's a very good question, because there's been a couple of double plus good things tonight. Lamps look useful too. Yes, they do. As does the bucket and the shovel. I'm sure they will find a home somewhere on the layout. There it is. It's quite a lot of flash on these, and unfortunately they are not saving the universe. So the flash needs to go. Lamps used to bucket and shovel for locos. Yes, indeed. Midland spin, I could point that out earlier. I said something was double plus ungood. Oh yes, it was one of the shorts I called that. Well, like double plus good, double plus ungood. These things aren't majorly different. I believe I'm going to need to be able to hold these upright whilst soldering them about there. This should be fun. Double plus ungood, plus good, double plus good. And I'm going to be honest, Alex, I'm not convinced by this word ungood. You people need to learn your new speak, especially how close we are now. 1984 in UK. No offence, but I'm not convinced you'd make a good maths teacher. There it is, there's the one I was using. Am I the only one who's read 1984? No, you're not. Although admittedly I haven't for a good number of years now. Like 5 or 6, I would imagine. Now where did I put the solder? There it is. There's much to be said for Animal Farm. Yeah, Animal Farm's up. Bedtime tonight. Oh, good night, Stephen. Thank you for joining us. It has been great to have you here. Sleep well, sir. I'm back. Just switched over to my phone. We accomplished a lot today. Excellent, Matt. Well, I probably won't talk much since rebooting my fictional branch in Double Track. So yeah. Yes. Hello back. I'm Gary. Welcome. Animal Farm is very good. Yes, and sent you a Twitter photo. Awesome. In fact, according to some website, I can't remember what the website was called. It plots a map of fictional locations. Currently trying to sketch out LSWR brake carriage ducket. It's a fiddly set of curves. Yes. Yes, this is a website that plots out a map of where fictional locations and locations from books would actually, and TV in fact, actually lie. Where these things are supposed to be. So, places like Midsummer from Midsummer Murders, etc. According to said website, and I don't know where it gets its information from, but according to this place, Animal Farm is basically on top of my house. So that's fun. What with the estate I'm on actually being an ex-farm and still having farm in the name of the estate and all that. How can fictional locations have an actual place? Well, it's where they're set, isn't it? Where they're supposed to be. Oh, I see you sending me a link there, Linny. I can't see what the link is until I get a new webcam. The phone is still the streaming tool. I'd like to remind everyone that under normal circumstances, holding things like this whilst soldering them is not a good idea. Fictional places seen in films. Yes, that sort of thing. Based on background info, references, filming locations, all sorts of info. Yes, but does Animal Farm have any of that? That you can actually get a place from it? I realise there are some works of fiction where you can do these things. But I meant I don't get where they're getting it from with Animal Farm specifically. It's the map. Ah, thank you very much, Linny. I did wonder if that was what it was. Does it have St Mary Mead? I can't remember. I remember the last time I looked at it, I was just looking up locations local to me. Right, now we're actually done with the solder. I would be surprised if it doesn't. It is a very good map. All sorts of things covered. I still can't see where the low melt solder bag has gone. That's quite irritating. But never mind. I've got plenty of Ziploc bags. Yeah, Wilmington-on-Sea is on there. I know that because that's very local to me. Does feature the Craig and Mertonford too. Excellent. It is still important to hydrate. So please make sure you do. I've not had a whole lot of luck with Kay's kits. The kits wouldn't glue together. Well, Max, did you see how easy that was for me to solder? All you need to do is get yourself a temperature controlled soldering iron, like I have, so I can turn that on, turn the temperature up and down, The display there tells me how hot it is. And some low melt solder. You can turn your iron right down and solder it nice and easy. Doesn't include Sodor. That's the wrong category for the map. It does include Sodor. Where is Wilmington on sea based? A few miles east of me, essentially, Luke. I think Sodor would be located in the sea. It is in the sea, just off Barrow in Furness. Okay, it's white metal soldering is a lot easier than people make it out to be. Actually, you know, that's a nice, strong, stable kit now. Just a tiny bit of solder used. It's not expensive. It is really good. But yeah, Wilmington-on-Sea, just a few... It would be located south of England. What would be located south of England, Max? Because Sodor isn't. Sodor's in the northwest. Oh no, I've already got my plastic card. I don't need to go and get that. Because things we need to do now include making a floor. Southwest. No, Sodor is northwest. It's between Barrow and the Isle of Man. There's also Ivor, as there should be. Every map worth its salt should say where Ivor lives. What do you mean I'm avoiding saying certain words? Hence the North Western Railway being on it. Exactly, Luke. Exactly. Plasticard. I can't remember what I was cutting out of this sheet, but never throw plasticard away. I wish I hadn't sliced into it so much here with whatever I was saying. Southwest would be called the Southwestern Railway. It would indeed, and that would cause problems because... No, in fact, no, it wouldn't cause any more problems, would it? Because we had a London and North Western as well. So a nice rough kit like this, I'm just going to... Surely Ballamori has got to be on there. Why would you even say that? Like... Is the village from Last of the Summer Wine on there? I believe so. The LSWR went by SWR for a while. Oh, did it? Did not know that, so it would cause confusion. And potentially delay. Haha, you see what I did there? Now, I should not be measuring this by eye, but I am, so there. What's really cool, can't remember, but I was actually set in Holmfirth. It's a real place. Well, it's on lots of maps then, if it's a real place. Is the village from Allo Allo, which is set in France, on a map of the UK? No. No, Luke, it's not. I realise this is shocking news for you. I've just realised that this isn't actually straight. Bows outwards. Score the plastic with the back of the knife. I'm getting scoring just fine. I was actually kind of hoping it would cut all the way through, being it's a new knife and very thin plastic. There we go. Oh, there's a bump out the end here still. Yep, that all goes in okay. Now I actually need to take chunks out the corners. To fit around the alignment and solder. As if you look in there, you can see that these bits go right down to where the floor will be sitting. Don't cut towards you. Yes, I know. But I don't get the strength when I cut away from me. I've tweeted you a link. Car. All these tweets tonight. And so, just like that, we have a floor. We may not be going to use these wheels because they're a bit tarnished and rubbish, but I'm just going to put them back in to check there is plenty of clearance around them and the floor. There is absolutely loads of it. So everyone's going to have that map soon, are they? Found and studied the map. It has St Mary Mead, Wilmington-on-Sea and Market Basin, but it's missing the county of Radfordshire. I approve of floors. Oh, Linny meant to ask about the 8040 chat. Are you able to give me a rough idea of price of 84's carriage kits? Not right now, obviously. So now that we know the floor fits okay, and the wheels fitting around it okay, I shall drop some glue into it. Now, some people like to go all out with the interiors of these or with any coach, any carriage for that matter. I've done it on a couple of carriages in the past, but I honestly don't see it well enough for me to bother. However, something that I do find very important is to put in the dividing walls between the compartments. So I put the roof on just to cover it all up. You can see that, you can see all the way through the carriage, and it just doesn't look great. You can tell it's one big long single compartment. Whereas if we block that up, it gives a huge difference to the interior of the carriage, and I've got some even thinner plasticard for that. Basically paper thin, 10 thou. All the stuff from Round My Way is on that map, including Hatley from old Dr. Beecham. Excellent. Linny, since we all to be pestering you, did you receive my second email? I didn't realise the purpose of my stream was for everyone to pester Linny. But there we go. I hope we are all doing good as we approach the final half hour of the stream. The unexpected carriage stream. Dr. Beechin is not a great guy though. Dr. Beechin is a scapegoat. Marples was the bad guy. Dr. Beechin is much maligned. Just doing a job. Marples was the actual villain of the piece. Exactly, Alex. Gosh, time flies. It does indeed. There's a bit sticking out the edge there, but that's why it's not going in. There we go. Right, I can see it from here. The real villain was the politicisation of the railways by virtue of state control. It's never safe to let the state control anything. This is also true. Time flies, you need better glue on your clocks. Wow. Marples was a proper, almost pantomime villain. He certainly wasn't the ideal man for being in charge of transport of any kind. Slight conflict of interest. That one's slightly too wide, but that's fine. Not ideal for anybody to be transport generally. Who's MD of a road transport construction company? Can't imagine why he wanted to kill the railways. Exactly. Usually Harry, yes, but in this context, it's historical railway discussion as opposed to politics. Current day politics, we will be avoiding. There's a real powder keg there. But at the point when it stops being politics and becomes historical fact that you can analyse, anything generally, we talked about Animal Farm earlier. Do not forget that power corrupts. True. Right, if I stick some blue tack on the bottom of this for a minute. Lessons from history are as relevant today as ever. Indeed they are. You're no good to me if you won't stick. I apologise, I'm not allowed to discuss the effect on the corn laws then. No, you're not. That's way too modern, Alex. So I say, at some point it stops being politics and becomes analysable historical fact. Damn. Well put, yeah. Well, it's true, it is. It's no longer politics, it's something that happened in history that you can look at and analyse historically, not politically. Hydration is important. Getting a bit of Gatorade. Hydration is indeed important. And I thank you for mentioning it. So, they're not imperfect as they are only blue tacked in place, but you can already see the difference it makes by having your compartments separated. That alone makes it look much more like a real carriage. So the next step, of course, is to take all these back out. Because they're all blue tacked in, and that's no good for us. We need to glue them in. Hydration is important, as Max says. Oh, you're looking good. Great progress. Thank you very much. Now, when gluing these, the most important thing is to make sure you're putting them in the right place. Plastic cement them in. No, not going to solder the dividers in. No, I'm not going to solder in the plastic dividers. What with them being plastic. Plastic cement them in. I'm sticking them to metal. It'll be plastic welding, which is a thing with heat. Can I remind you all that we're using blooming 10 foul plastic art here? You strange people. I agree with Lily, very lazy. I've got some bad news. Possibly they. Brilliant, Lily. Absolutely brilliant. But yeah, you know, Linny, I just want to say as well, I didn't actually solder your carriage kits either, which obviously was really lazy of me. So I don't know what you think about that, but yeah, I didn't bother soldering them. And so once these are in place, I'm just dab of glue on each corner and letting it run itself down the gap. So this is gravity assisted modelling. Oh no, next you'll be telling me you didn't solder the triangle wagon bashes either. I didn't. It's unforgivable, isn't it? Looks fab. Thank you, Max. Much appreciated. Proof of gravity. This is one. Maybe dab some on the floor or top that the panels are touching. You're assuming I've cut the panels straight enough that they're touching the floor there, Max. 99% of the time, gravity-assisted modelling isn't a good thing. Well, it is in this case. The gravity assisted me very, very well. But yes, so now we actually have the compartments in properly. If I put the roof on again, you can see how much better it looks for having compartment dividers in there. And there goes that light again. As a fan of both space things and narrow gauge things, gravity assisted things are always good. But there's no gravity in space. Did no one tell you, Alex? I'm going to pop those in there. Not always. Always. Well, talking of space things, Alex, I've seen some gravity-assisted landings in Kerbal Space Programs that wasn't great. One of your dividers isn't stuck in straight. Honestly, I'm surprised any of them are stuck in straight. I think they're all straight enough. This one, I think, is the one that isn't stuck in straight. But it is now stuck. If a loco falls down the hole, it becomes gravity assisted. Is a loco falling down a hole a good thing then, Alex? Yes, Luke. Yes, it is. Deal with it. Plenty of gravity in space. Unfortunately, that's how black holes work. They're in space. Yes, I know. I'm not a... I know these things, but, you know, I'm no rocket surgeon. But I know there's actually gravity in space. It's basically how space works. But as I said, I ain't no rocket surgeon. What do you mean? All landings are good in Kerbal, no matter what the outcome. If you say so. That is the point. So yes, I suppose the next thing we need to do is to prepare, although not stick on, the new roof. Because whilst the new roof obviously needs to be made, at the moment it does not need to be on because we need to get in there to paint it still at some point. Rocket surgeon. Yeah, I ain't no rocket surgeon. I am not performing rocket surgery. So it's nice and easy to put this on here, cut round it, and think you're done, but you're not, because that's going to result in something that is not wide enough this way. So I can use this to measure this way quite happily. If a Kerbal survives, great. If a Kerbal dies, great, because science. However, what we want to do here is to roll the end over. I'm going to move it onto the edge of the glass. And we'll see, although it's not much, it's about 1 millimetre, maybe 2 millimetres wider than the roof is. Why don't you use the original roof? It's too heavy and it's got the wrong type of lamps on it. This on its own is heavy enough. Once you put the extra chunk of white metal on there, you're getting a very, very heavy carriage. And you're going to struggle to get a rake of them pulled by most locos. Yeah, that ruler's no good to me for measuring this. Ah, now that lines up perfect. Which one did it line up perfect with? That one. Which is not the one I've just cut that line to. Perform torpedo surgery, bonus nerd points for that reference without Google. No, there are no nerd points for me from that one, I'm afraid. But I don't believe a torpedo surgery would help me much with the whole space thing. So now we have a roof panel, just the right size. And there we go, as you can see, it's absolutely perfect in every way whatsoever. I don't see how anyone could criticise it. Except for when that happens, obviously. So, with 10 foul like this, you can stick on one side, and once it's stuck, roll it. However, I will most likely do the same thing with the Pringles tube and the hot water as we did before with the 20 foul when making whatever we made a roof for previously. There you go, someone got it, Alex. Are you happy now? So, although we haven't managed to get the i3 running, I will collect my multimeter from club tomorrow night. So next weekend we will have that to play and sort out the shorts. In the meantime, I shall have a look and see why the motor isn't turning. I've got a fair idea why it isn't turning, so I shall see if I can correct that. Don't glue it until you've painted it. No, exactly, Max, I won't be. That is why it's not getting glued on right now. So the interior will need painting first. We'd be happy if more people knew it, but yes. Spot to McCoy, care to assist in performing surgery on a torpedo. I find the rockets to be more important than the torpedoes when in space, to be honest. But that's just me. I could be wrong about that. So yes, this will definitely be coming back out next week to get fixed and to get running. Looking a bit sorry for itself with its chassis and all those pieces though. So what happens for me being nice and helping someone out to get some pictures of it and taking it all apart through the week. Worked fine last week. But yeah, I have a good idea of what is causing the issues with it. So next week, I hope to see that project very actually finished. Because again, I've no bank holiday tomorrow, so I will be at club. I can get my multimeter. Once we've got that done, we will of course get this done. Because it's here now, it's started, and I will also, whilst this is being done, get Linny's carriages that we did in the past back out. So we can have a look and we can compare them. I will check my Twitter, Max. I've got the notification in front of me, don't worry. Shame about the i3. Change of plans has worked out greatly. It has still been a great stream. Problems happen. That's what modelling is. So yes, there is really nothing I can do to fill what would be the last 5 minutes of the stream. So I thank you all for joining me. It has been absolutely wonderful. You have been awesome as always. I've been Gary. This has been Let's Build. Good night. And I hope to see you all next Sunday for next week's stream. Night night.